Yeah, welcome everyone at Allianz Arena for the press conference ahead of the Champions League semi-final first leg, Bayern Munich against Real Madrid tomorrow, which will be the most played out tie in the history of the Champions League. Next to me is Joshua Kimmich, who will be answering your questions. So let's start. Hello, Joshua. Two big clubs are coming face to face. What will be the key tomorrow and in 1 week's time in order to proceed to the final? How can you crack Real Madrid? Well, I also believe that two big clubs are dueling each other. It's really difficult to say where the key might be. We know that Real is very experienced, that they have the quality, but first and foremost, with their experience, they have won many games in their past 2 years ago or now against Leipzig. Those were victories. And I haven't seen the City games, but they weren't always the better team, but they still managed to reach the next round because they always believe in their strength. They know their qualities, and Real is always dangerous. They can always be dangerous, but still, I think we should also believe in our own strength and have self-confidence. We really had two good games, particularly the second leg against Arsenal, so we definitely don't have to hide. You are a Champions League champion yourself from the year 2020, but how big is your will to win a Champions League in front of a sellout crowd? And talk us through Jamal Musiala, who is a leader on the pitch already, but what is his role away from the pitch? Well, yes, it was very special in a way that we didn't have any fans at the stadium back then, so we would like to experience it once again with the fans, which would definitely be more emotional. Now in the semi-final, we have the big chance to reach the final, but we want to concentrate on tomorrow, and we want to get a good result and get a good position for the second leg, and then we'll see what we can do. And talking about Jamal Musiala, generally speaking, he's a very calm and quiet guy who is just about waking up. He's a really young player. If I remember back in the days when I was coming to Bayern Munich at the age of 20, I thought I was really young, but in today's terms, I'd be pretty old coming into the Bundesliga at 20. Jamal has a couple of games under his belt already, and so you can really see him growing up. Outside of the pitch, he was a young kid when he first came to the practice sessions, and now you see that he is a man already, or he's growing into being a man already, and he's really developing, which is completely normal. You're playing against Carlo Ancelotti, who was coaching you as well. He has a special reputation and an aura. And how do you see him? How did he change? Well, I don't know whether he changed too much. He's still very successful with Real Madrid, and wherever he was successful. He won the Champions League a couple of times already. In the first season, I haven't played with him, but I still scored a couple of goals. And in the second season, I played every game, but unfortunately, we weren't that successful. Not like he is at Real Madrid now. I would like to have won the Champions League with him. Hello, Joshua. The last 3 games against Real Madrid with Bayern Munich were won by Real Madrid. Do you feel any sort of revenge in the team? Well, we don't have too many players in the team that could actually sense a revenge. I guess Ule, Manu, Thomas, and me are probably the only survivors from those days. So I don't think you can talk about a revenge, really. It's been 6 years and the teams have changed pretty much completely. I don't know who was playing for Real back in the days. Toni, Luka Modric, Carvajal. Well, a couple of players, but not that many. So I don't think there will be too much of a revenge feeling involved.
Hola Joshua, José Padilla de Defensa Central.
Hello Joshua. Rodri from Manchester City said that Madrid was lucky to get into the semi-final. Is it luck or what is it about Real Madrid? Well, I believe that there is more involved. I was just talking about it 2 years ago when they won the Champions League. They were trailing in almost every game and still managed to turn it around. So you cannot only talk about luck. Really, I believe they are experienced, very experienced, and you can really say that they believe in their strength and they know that they can score at any time and they can win against every opponent and come back all the time. I haven't seen the games against Manchester City, so I don't know whether it was lucky or not, but it's definitely not only luck.
Herr Kimmich, Sie werden wahrscheinlich morgen oft Vinicius Junior begegnen auf dem Platz. Was zeichnet diesen Spieler aus und wie muss man gegen?
What is it about this player and how do you have to defend him? I'd say he's one of the best dribblers and one-on-one players currently in Europe. It's always difficult to defend against such a player all by yourself, so it's important that we are a team and that we try to solve things on a team basis. We know that he's dangerous, we know that he brings a lot of speed on the table and he's very target-oriented. So it's not just a one-on-one situation, but more that you have to defend as a team, particularly against an extraordinary player like him.
Hello Joshua,
There are rumors around Ralf Rangnick, Uli Hoeneß was opening up the topic with Thomas Tuchel. Is that distracting you at all? Well, you could sense that situation a bit, but we as a player, we're not really involved in that. So it's all that counts is the game tomorrow and then next week. So we don't let anything distract us. Really, we are focused and we should actually concentrate on that. And, we can't influence all the other things.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Me gustaría preguntarte por Toni Kroos.
Hello, Joshua. I'd like to ask you about Toni Kroos. Can you analyze Toni a bit? What is his worth for Real Madrid? Well, I know Toni from the national team and from watching Real. He gives every team a bit of a security on the ball, control, dominance. He's a player that has achieved a lot, has experienced a lot, and so you can actually copy something from him because he's really experienced and he really has a couple of trophies in his bag already.
Hallo Joshua.
Durch die Aussagen von Uli Hoeneß hatten wir in den letzten Tagen Diskussionen, wie Thomas
Uli
Tuchel Spieler
Hoeneß
besser macht.
was discussing about whether Thomas Tuchel makes players better. How did he make you better in the last couple of weeks? Well, generally, Thomas Tuchel and other coaches, I was playing different positions, more like a defensive six, more like an offensive six at the right back. And this helps you as a player to develop and to get better. For us, it was the way that we played a bit of a different football throughout the season that helps you as well. We were playing on the counter for a couple of games. We had a couple of games that we weren't that dominant and were more working through quick transitions. But still, his approach is to come through possession-based football and control, which I really like because I'm someone who likes to play position-based football. But still, he was adapting towards the team more, so we played our football according to our opponent, so every player could learn something from it. I'd like to talk about the dominance of Bayern Munich that they had in the past, but they weren't showing against Arsenal, Dortmund, Stuttgart. You chose a different approach with a deeper block and playing on the transition. What is the approach for Real Madrid in the first game, in the home game at the Allianz Arena? Are you trying to find a mix, or how did he prepare you for it? Well, we haven't had too much time for the preparation. We were playing the day before yesterday, so we were regenerating a bit. Real is similar. They have their strength in transition. They like to defend deep, so it's about finding the right mix. And particularly against Real, it's important to defend well, but we must not hide. We have to be brave and have possession stints and try to create attacks, try to risk something. So in the end, it's the mix, it's the balance between attacking and defending. So against Arsenal, it wasn't only us sitting deep, but we were not pressing high, because Arsenal is a team that is very confident on the ball, and it's pretty much the same with Real. They have players who are confident with the ball, and so you have to find the balance in between defending high and low, and be brave to attack yourself.
Playing against Real Madrid, does it give you an extra motivation, or you see just a normal game?
Also ein normales Spiel sieht man sicher nicht.
A normal game is something that I don't expect, particularly in a Champions League semi-final, regardless whether it's against Real Madrid or someone else. The semi-final in the Champions League is always very special. Against Real Madrid, maybe more special because Real is a huge club, and a Champions League semi-final, Real against Bayern Munich, is something that everybody likes to watch who likes to watch football. Joshua, a question about yourself personally. You had difficult weeks and months at Bayern Munich, and then an important goal against Arsenal. Maybe it was a start to something. What is your situation going into this game tomorrow? Well, honestly, in a pretty good shape. I'm got high hopes, particularly after watching games against Arsenal. I think we can approach the game with confidence tomorrow. Obviously, the focus is on the game tomorrow, because we know that our season so far wasn't successful, really. So it was more of an up and down, and particularly in the second round of fixtures, we had a couple of losses in the Bundesliga. We were really cruising through the Champions League very comfortably with good games, apart from the first game in the round of 16, or the second half of that game particularly,
Ich freue
that
mich
was a bit
extrem auf morgen. Ich glaube, hier jeder im Raum
not
freut sich
so
wahrscheinlich
good.
auch
So
auf
I'm
morgen.
really extremely looking forward to tomorrow's game, like everybody in the room probably will, and every football fan in Europe. And so it is a really awesome feeling to play a semi-final against Real. So the final question.
Can I do in English? Arthur Quesada, TNT Sports Brazil. Kimmich, we saw Real Madrid changing a lot in the attacking system, the position of the players. You are a right back. Probably you are going to face Vinicius Junior, but maybe you are going to face Rodrigo. Is it a big difference between these two players? I assume that you have been watching a lot of Real Madrid games recently.
Ja, das stimmt, absolut.
Yes, that is right. Absolutely. Real Madrid is always changing position, particularly up front with Rodrigo, Bellingham, Vini Jr. So you cannot only defend against one player, but you really see different faces. So it's going to be important for me that I will keep my position at right back and not follow a certain player in a man-to-man coverage. But on the other hand, it doesn't matter who's coming towards you. They're all strong, quick, and technically gifted, so you can only look forward to it. So that's it. With part one, we'll be back with the coach.
Okay, welcome back. Teil 2 jetzt mit unserem Cheftrainer.
So welcome back, part 2 with our head coach Thomas Tuchel.
Positionieren,
He's,
ja, in der Mitte die erste
getting ready
Frage
with a
vom
glass of water. Let's start with the questions.
Servus Thomas. Was gibt es bei
Hello, Thomas. What are the news regarding Conny Leimer and Matthijs de Ligt? Are they going to be ready for the game tomorrow? And another question, was there any talk with Uli Hoeneß since Saturday? Well, I'm not going to comment on that anymore. It's over for me. And the first question, I don't need to lie at you, but I don't know 100%. When I go to the practice session, the last checks will be made with Conny, Mata and Upa, and that's my opinion. Conny looks the best, and we'll see what's the deal with Lira and Jamal. They are receiving treatment as we speak, and that is the situation. So we have to be a bit patient. Continuing with the personnel, this is going to be a touch and go with most of those players. Yes, regarding the practice, absolutely. And the players we were just talking about, Conny will try it. And Mata is maybe a bit too early. Upa is probably too early as well, but maybe something changed since yesterday evening, so we have to wait a bit, and then there will be touch-and-go decisions with Jamal and Leroy. Touch-and-go means that we'll make the decision today after the final practice. And then a question about you. On the pitch, saying is that the experience will decide, and on the touchline, well, it wouldn't be that good if the experience would be deciding. Carlo is a legend. What he did for the football as a player and as a coach is just the highest level, and he's still so nice and humble and really relaxed. When I was a complete newbie in the Champions League, and the first time I met him, he was very nice and gentle and polite and very extraordinary, and you can't really rate this highly enough. And he's close to his next championship and close to the next semi-final. You're obviously playing against experience, against the jersey, against the myth of Real Madrid, but still our approach is going to be very concentrated on what we do. We have one day less than Real Madrid in our preparation, so we're going to make the tactical sessions today and tomorrow, and then we are trying to teach them exactly what we want, and then we're absolutely looking forward to a good game tomorrow. A question about the coaching duel. You have the image of being a tactical fox, and Carlo Ancelotti, he's letting 11 players do what they want, basically. What is the biggest difference between? Well, I think it's not really true about Carlo, but him with his aura and with his way he goes about things, his experience, and the teams that he managed already. He's a bit of a father figure, obviously, which is one of his biggest strengths. So what was the question again? So I don't really know. I just know that it's important that everybody goes about his business and takes his path, and so it's more important that we stick to ourselves and our strength, and we try to address some topics and not do too much to the team, but help them with easy solutions. And we have to find a mixture in between discipline and freedom in order to play freely in a situation like that, which could be a quick moment when you have the feeling, now I'm catching the wave, and you have to really seize the moments, and we are experienced, not only me, but the team as well. So it's going to be a good mixture between looking forward to it and be tight. So let's see.
Hi Thomas, Robert Lewandowski gave an interview a couple of days ago and he named Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham as the best two players in the world. I was just wondering what you think of Jude at the moment, how he's progressed and his dangers, and whether you'd include Harry within that group as well.
Harry?
Kane.
Harry Kane, yeah. If you need to put players in kind of these groups, I'm not the biggest fan of it because I don't like the individual approach of best player because there's so many different positions and so many different profiles of players. Jude is extraordinary development. I mean, he was fantastic here in Bundesliga. How he progressed shows the level of personality. I think this is only possible with a huge personality. Everyone who plays for Real Madrid plays also with the pressure of that shirt, plays with the pressure to play for this club and with the demands and the expectations. He handles it like he has never done anything else before. He's very dangerous and very, very physical in his game. He's absolute key player in a very offensive position. We are well aware of it and we try to find solutions tomorrow.
Dann auf der rechten Seite, jetzt glaube ich, spanischer Kollege.
It's in English as well.
Oh.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Tuchel, some would describe you as a tactical genius. Now, when you're playing, in the semi-final of the Champions League against players like Vinicius, Rodrigo, how much can you rely on tactic, and how much is just the luck of the day?
Hopefully tactic, hopefully also luck of the day, but hopefully also a freedom. You cannot get. The bigger the occasion, the bigger the pressure, the bigger the stress. You cannot just rely on what you know and just think about things like tactical stuff. I think you can make always a difference with the tactic and with the approach, but the tactic is just the car, and the players drive the car. So we have to find a good balance, especially in moments like this, that we show solutions. I think that players like to see solutions. Players like to have a plan and like to have a general idea. And overall, they also like and need a freedom to live it, and because this is the most important. But as you mentioned, there is no way to play this game without the luck of the day. If you hit the post, it's the inside of the post, the outside of the post. It's a fraction offside, onside. You need these little decisions, of course. You need the momentum, a bit of luck, and you need the whole package if you want to overcome Real Madrid in semi-final. We want to force things to a point where maybe this little luck is then the difference, but we cannot rely on it. For that, it's not big enough. So we have to push it, and we feel ready for it.
Ganz oben, Taufik Khalil für den Bayerischen Rundfunk.
Ja, Herr Tuchel, mein Sohn hat gestern Abend zu mir gesagt, Bayern gegen Real
My
Madrid.
son just told me yesterday Bayern against Real Madrid is like the ultimate Champions League game. Was he talking as a Bayern fan, or is that historically the biggest, that you would also say the biggest that there is? Well, I just learned that those two have the most semi-final appearances, so it's a really worthy semi-final. So I think your son is right. Whether it's really the biggest, he's probably talking as a Bayern Munich fan, because in Manchester or in Liverpool, he won't find too many that would say the same. But as a Bayern fan, I can understand this, and I guess it's the right occasion, and we're absolutely looking forward to it.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Yeah, okay. 1 second.
Jugó una eliminatoria contra el Real Madrid con el Chelsea.
You were playing against Real Madrid with Chelsea, and I'd like to know what differences you see between this Real Madrid and today's Real Madrid. Are there any differences, and what did you learn from this game and now? It wasn't the first time, but it was the latest game. We were playing twice with Chelsea against Real, and I was playing with Paris and Dortmund against them as well. And talking about the last game, I think the most obvious change is the personality of Benzema, who isn't with Real Madrid anymore. He was the number 9 player of Real Madrid, who was really putting his stamp on that position for years at Real Madrid. And they now play with a different system. So Jude Bellingham is playing in a 10-9-8-6 role, all combined, and that's what changed, but still a couple of habits are still the same. It's still Modric, it's still Toni Kroos, it's still Vinicius, and they behave the same, but the way they go about their game is a bit different, with the personnel change of Jude Bellingham and Benzema. But generally speaking, what I was talking about last week is that the task to play against Real means you have to have enough players on the offense, but still not give away too much on the defensive side. And those are really small margins. And you can have the feeling, well, it's not enough. We don't have enough players up front. But in the next moment, when you only have one player more, then you feel, well, we are fragile defensively and could be hit on the counter. So we have to find a balance. And about everything else, we try to prepare as well as possible. A really short question. Why are you so convinced that Serge Gnabry will score tomorrow? Because you were talking about that twice. Well, I know it's going to happen. I don't know where I know this from, but I know that it's going to happen.
Dann eins vor, bitte, zu Nicolas Linner für Bild-Zeitung.
Hallo, Herr Tuchel. Ja, Sie haben nach Samstag gleich
After Saturday, you were stressing that you don't want to talk about that thing with Uli Hoeneß again, and that's why you wanted to ask me again. Uli Hoeneß himself goes about it differently. He was talking to the kicker and emphasizing that he still stands by his criticism and that he wants to be more vocal in the future. What do you think about it? What does it do to you? It's only Real Madrid in my head. So let's just focus on the game.
Hola, buenas tardes. Voy a preguntarle en castellano, señor Tuchel.
I would like to ask a question. You said that you're a tactical fox. No, he did. And then you were answering the question that Bellingham plays as a 10-9-8-6. So which role has Ancelotti with being a tactical fox, with Bellingham having playing in such positions? Well, that's the problem with those drawers. If you put someone in there, you forget to open it up again and try to change the picture that you have inside there. Because I don't think that Carlo Ancelotti says, well, play whichever position you want to, but there is a clear rundown with Toni Kroos, where he plays and how to start the transitions, and with Jude Bellingham, a completely new position that he hasn't played in the past. It's a mixture of midfield diamond with 4 players and maybe a 2-2 with 2 6s and 2 10s. That's very flexible and that adapts to the occasion, and it changes from an away game to a home game. So that is very, very sophisticated, and it's an automatic thing, and it's definitely the handwriting of Carlo Ancelotti.
Hi, Thomas, in English. Arthur Quesada, TNT Sports Brazil. You said before that you love Brazilian players. Unfortunately, you don't have any in Bayern, but you are going to face Vinicius and also Rodrigo. We used to compare these players because they originally are of the same position in the left wing, but now they have a lot of movements around. in the attacking system. Which one is worse to predict in terms of face, in terms of defense?
Well, they're both strong. They're both a bit different players, I agree. Rodrigo hurt us a lot with a decisive goal in the Bernabeu at Chelsea. So, not sure if I like him so much after that. But in general, like for me, we find Vinicius more on the left side. He has his favorite position from the left wing to accelerate without and with the ball. Have this one-on-ones, one against twos, like fantastic dribblings, fantastic finishing. He's very clinical and very decisive, while Rodrigo, for me, plays a little bit between a winger, sometimes as a 9, sometimes maybe as a half 10. Rodrigo's position is, for me, a bit more fluid, but also with a lot of speed. Very, very good in narrow spaces in the middle of the pitch, while for me, Vinicius prefers a little bit the sideline to start his actions. Yeah, that's basically it. And you're right, I had only the very best experience with Brazilian players, so that's why I said this. And it's basically it, no? Enough? Good.
Dann die letzten 3 Fragen hier oben. Klaus Bergmann für die dpa zunächst.
Herr Tuchel, Sie haben gesagt, dass Sie personelle Probleme
You said that you have some problems with players, but you don't know how fit they are. How much risk are you ready to take in the first leg? Can you actually play 4 players that have a knock in a game like that, that you maybe have to substitute them? And then you were playing in the Champions League final already, won the Champions League. Where do those 2 games rate? Well, they feel like a final, but that has always been the case. In a semi-final, it always feels like a final. And that maybe towards your first question, my approach is that we're gonna take it as a final. Obviously, 4 players with a knock is probably too much because you can only change 5 times. If we know that none of those players can play 90 minutes, we're not going to do that. But those are different injuries and different aspects. So contextual, I'm not someone who would take the game and make the team talk and the lineup looking ahead and saying, well, there's a second leg, because tomorrow there's too much that can happen with a red card, with a penalty and everything. You can already take the direction differently. So we want to approach the game without any thoughts in our head ahead to a second game, because we're going to do everything in those 90 minutes to win the game tomorrow, and then we know our situation looking ahead to the second game, but we're not going to try to let the second leg influence our lineup for tomorrow.
Hi, Thomas. Hi. Arbel Eshet from Sports Channel Israel. Would a victory against Real Madrid compensate for this turbulent season for Bayern and for you personally?
It would compensate a lot, but I'm pretty sure if we make it, we would be very happy, but not fully satisfied, because our goal is to go to Wembley and then, of course, win at Wembley. But yeah, it is already. It gave us a lot of confidence in the staff, and of course with the staff and the team. It gave us a lot of confidence to eliminate Arsenal, who continued after the defeat here, continued to win and are on top of the Premier League and showed their quality. So that proved the point, we proved the point, and that gave us a lot of confidence. Now is the next step against Real Madrid, like you all already said, and we agreed against Real Madrid in this competition in a semi-final. This is a big stage, so we want to compete, and we want to push it over the line to be the team to go to Wembley. We want to do it, of course, for us and for our hunger and for our big goal to Wembley. And we will not get any points back in any other competition, but this is sports. We have to focus now on tomorrow. And then after that, we go the next step in Bernabeu. And we need to be well prepared and appreciate the occasion, and we will.
Last one, same place, yeah.
Thomas, hallo. Der FC Bayern hat auch einen Aufruf gestartet an seine Fans.
Bayern Munich
Wie wichtig wird die Atmosphäre
was
oder wie
addressing the fans regarding the atmosphere in the stadium. How important is it going to be? Well, we need a really top-notch atmosphere. It was really very good against Arsenal, but we need even more. That's clear. We need to have a home field advantage. We're going to experience that in the second leg in a different direction. We need to have the fans really breathing the game, supporting us in difficult situations, and that the fans know that one duel and a blocked shot and a good, well-defended counter-attack is important. So we need the maximum of the support of the fans, and in situations when we suffer, when we don't have the ball, that we need to survive, and we need the support of the fans to get our momentum, and that is completely clear. We need to create an atmosphere with the fans that will give us a small advantage. Whether it will be decisive, we'll see, but that's out of question. So thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.